You know, I've noticed that guys are pretty isolated now in 2025. And when I was younger, I really experienced this where I was in high school, I was in year 7, year 8, I was like 13. I started to be aware that social hierarchies were a thing, I was in the school grounds and I would say a joke, no one would laugh. And then like in the classroom, I would see some other guy who was like popular, he would say the joke and everyone would like, "Oh my God, it's so funny." I'm like, "What the fuck, bro?" Like I said the same joke as he did, but everyone reacted differently. And I was like, "What the fuck? Like, this is stupid." And that's when I became like so fucking self-conscious and anxious about like, my body language and how I was became like sort of self-conscious, and I was overthinking because I started to be aware that people treated people differently based on who you were. It's not about what you said, but who you are and how people perceived you. Because I started to realize that social status, dominance hierarchies, and power dynamics were a thing, it made me think that I needed to behave a certain way in order to be more powerful and to be more like higher status in the school grounds. Because if I was in the higher hierarchy, people would treat me better and people would laugh at my jokes even though they weren't funny, right? And so when I was in year 9, I remember I was 14, I actually tried to like be popular. I actually tried to be, quote unquote, liked in school. I had nerdy friends at the time, I played Terraria, Minecraft, Rocket League with. I stopped hanging out with them just for like a month and I just started hanging out with the popular kids. And it was so unbearable. Like, it was so shit. Like, I had to, try like say certain words and behave in a different way. I think the reason why I was with the nerdy friends because I could just be myself. I could just talk about video games. I could talk about Minecraft, Terraria, Rocket League. I could just talk about whatever the fuck I wanted to. And I knew that I would be liked. I didn't have to pretend. I could just be whatever I wanted, where if it was in the higher hierarchy, I felt very rigid. I felt very stiff. I had to pretend to be someone I'm not. When glimpses of the real me came out, when I was hanging out with those type of people, those quote unquote popular kids, I would go to the Oval and they would be playing AFL, Australian Football League, like Australian football. They'll be playing sports on the field and I just didn't care. I was just like ghosting around, just hands in my pocket, just like standing around talking and playing a bit of sports and ghosting around. When glimpses of me would come out, I noticed that people didn't really fuck with that or like that. But I remember this one kid that I really looked up to. This one guy in the same year I was in. He just called me like why you you're so weird, bro. Like, stay away from me. Like, you're so weird. And like that moment when he said he was so weird, that was the moment when I realized that it wasn't okay to be who I was. And that's when I developed walls, layers, and masks and personas. That's when I realized who I am is not sufficient enough to be liked and accepted. And so this is the start of every young guy's journey when they really lose their authentic self and they really lose who they were at the core, at the person, their interests, their values, what makes them, what gives them meaning, what gives them fulfillment. They sacrifice all the things and they burn all the things which makes them in order for social acceptance. 2 years down the line, I was still trying to be accepted and, I tried, being popular. Then I just got hurt. Like, after trying, I just got hurt, man. Like, I just got hurt. People said I was weird and people said I was trying too hard. But if I wasn't trying too hard, then I wouldn't be accepted. And I just got frustrated because what's the fucking answer? So I can't be myself. If I be myself, I'm weird. But if I don't be myself, then I try too hard. Then how do I, what the fuck, Like, I just got pissed off. Like, do people not like me the way that I am? Am I not good enough? And that led me down 2 years of just staying quiet because I stopped trying, bro. I was hurt. When you're hurt and something hurt you, like when you touch the fire on a stove, you get burnt and then you know that you shouldn't touch the fire. And this is exactly what happened, but with people and socializing is I tried to make friends with the people that I thought were cool and I got hurt. Sometimes shit is just chance where if you say something and then you be yourself, someone luckily resonated with it and that gave you a positive feedback loop to be yourself. I got a negative feedback loop from being myself. And so because I touched the stove, I got hurt. I didn't want to fucking touch the stove ever again because I knew the last time I did it, I got fucking burned. So I was like, okay, I just give up. I'm just not going to try. Got rejected by some girls. Girls didn't like me. Guys didn't like me. The guys that were cool, that were popular, didn't want to be friends with me. I was like, fuck, I'm not going to try. Then 2 years down the line, I found these self-improvement videos by Hamza, Sneeko, Cole Hastings. All these people talking about the concept of improving yourself. And they were telling their story and how who they were like this loser before. And then because they leveled up, people liked them now and people accepted them. And I thought that was the answer. So I self-improved. I watched these videos by Hamza, how to build an aesthetic body. I started going to the gym. I started doing all the things that I thought that would make me more quote unquote confident and make me more accepted by everyone else. I remember it was 2021 it was the second last year of high school. I was in year 11, I was 15. School was ending that year in year 11. So when exams came and school ended early, I found these videos on how to build an aesthetic body. I started literally working out every day. Like I was so obsessed because I was told that if I improved myself enough, the people that I wanted to be friends with would finally accept me. For 2 to 3 months, every single day, I would be grinding, fucking pumping iron, bro. So obsessed, listening to like Eminem.
8 miles to the south coast to the same marshal that out.
So like, oh, just like angry at the world. Like I fucking hate this. I want to get shredded, watching Tate, watching Hamza. On the 1st of February, when I came to school, people noticed I really changed a lot. I completely changed. People saw I got a new haircut. I looked a bit more bigger, you know, people could tell my aura changed. I was reading How to Win Friends to Influence People, and I was asking people, how's your day going? Like, why is this important to you? And I was doing all these things, trying to be this extroverted character and this new version of me, and people, Darius, you had a glow up. This girl came to me, oh my God, Darius, you had such a glow up. And I was like, oh, I was catching feels because this is the first time girls were showing me attention. So like, oh my God, I like this girl. She's showing me attention. But then I realized that there was this sense of uneasiness, this sense of anxiety. I felt like as time went by and I was being this confident, extroverted guy, I felt this sense of tension, this uneasiness, this nervousness when I was around those people. And that nervousness and uneasiness was for them to find out that I was not who I said I was. The whole time in school, I didn't realize it, but I was actually putting on a mask. I was putting on a persona. I was pretending to be this extroverted, charismatic guy when in fact I just wanted to be chill and just be myself, you know, and not have to take initiative and go out of my way to talk to this person. I don't even fucking care. The reason why I felt anxious around these people, I noticed an anxiety start to grow the longer I would spend time with people, because I knew that they were going to start finding out on who I actually was. And who I actually was cared about talking about deep philosophical perspectives and books and knowledge and things I was working on in my life and things I was struggling with. You know, I would like talking about mindsets and beliefs and knowing how the brain works and your dopamine levels and all these things that I was interested in. Not everyone has to be interested, that's fine. But these were the things I was interested in. And I felt this uneasiness because I was waiting for them to find out that I was a fraud. Looking back at then, I didn't really realize why I was struggling to really deeply connect with these people. And the reason why is because I wasn't improving myself. I was improving the walls around me that would keep me fucking protected. That's what I fucking realized. After graduating high school, I didn't really make any lasting friendships except my one close friend, which I told him everything about, like the girls that I was interested in, like the self-improvement YouTubers I would be watching, the books I would be reading, and he would fuck with it. He'd be like, yo, like, this is sick, man. And we would, like, you know, talk about these philosophical concepts about being yourself, being your true self, and religion, and self-improvement, gym, God, fitness, everything. I would stay close with him, but everyone else, after graduating high school, none of them reached out to me. And I blamed them. I said, oh, fuck them, da-da-da. And, you know, I went on my way to make money and try and make fuck you money, you know, start e-commerce, agency, SMA, to start all these things, to say fuck you because you didn't message me to follow up with me. We've been friends for 6 years. And I realized is that it's not their fault. It's my fault. And the reason why is because I didn't give myself the permission to actually be seen, for people to actually connect with the real me. My whole life, I've been faking who I am. My whole life, I've been putting on a persona, trying to be the person that other people want me to be instead of the person that I want to be. That's the harsh realization that every guy has to go through. I went on my way to try and make money so that I could finally be good enough so that people would like me. I was still operating in the I need to be this way in order for people to like me, to love me, and connect with me and appreciate me. I was operating that paradigm for 2023 after graduating high school in 2022. I'm not big enough. I'm not shredded enough. I'm not good looking enough. I'm not rich enough to start exposing myself to the world, because the limiting belief and the belief that I had in myself in the core was there is something wrong about who I am fundamentally at the core. And I don't want to show that to people. So I'm going to level myself up to a point where my walls are so massive that people will never hurt me again. I built up these walls of going to the gym, trying to be better, trying to look more richer, trying to up my social skills, trying to be something so other people would like me and love me. So I was grinding for a whole year in 2023 to build my business for that sake. That was the deeper core reason that was motivating me. People, social connection, human connections, relationships, girls, finally being respected, finally getting validated, finally people liking me. Even though I was around no one at the time, not many people. That was my driving motivation. And so by the end of 2023, I probably only made $500 from coaching guys on how to quit porn, nofap, right? Because that was my interest at the time. I wasn't really proud of that program either. I was tired of waiting. I think I realized I reached a point where I've been grinding, I've been working on myself. I'm more jacked than most average guys. I'm more intellectual than most guys. I'm more of everything than the average guy, yet the average guy has a friendship circle. The average guy has a girlfriend. In my mind, when I perceived the average guy, I didn't see myself as normal. I saw myself as weird. So when I think about the average guy, I think of the average guy that I knew in school who was slightly popular. He got a girlfriend, he had a friendship circle, they watched sports, that was what I thought the average guy was. In my mind, I was like, I'm more shredded than the average guy. I'm more intellectual than the average guy. I read more books than him. I'm more developed. I'm more mindful. I'm more of everything. Why don't I have the things that the average guy has? The average guy has a girlfriend. The average guy that, in my mind, like the average guy, had a friendship circle. Why don't I have any of that? And that's when I realized that, wait, it's because I think that I'm not enough. I wasn't exposing myself to people, the world, to girls, to women, to relationships. I wasn't exposing myself to have friends, to get into relationships, to approach girls. I wasn't exposing myself because I felt like I wasn't ready. And I was tired of that. I realized that was a bullshit lie. Other guys who are lesser than me in everything, in my mind at the time, like people were less than me in the terms of the more superficial aspects, they were getting everything that I wanted, which was, at the end of the day, love. Love and human connection. I just wanted love. I just wanted good friends. And that was really it. And so I realized the wall that I built up wasn't really working for me. So I stopped. And in 2024, I started to finally make friends. I started to go out to run clubs, cold plunges, saunas, all these events, parties, silent discos, nightclubs. I gave myself the permission to go out and expose myself to people. And so I did that. I started going to run clubs, cold nips, ice bath events, all these things to meet as many people as I could. I went through a very social life, social circle phase. Throughout the end of the year, I managed to actually make some friends, and I had friends that I didn't really like, and I had friends that I really, really liked. And throughout 2024, I managed to build a social circle of people that do give a shit about me. I managed to be able to give myself the permission and give myself the luxury to be myself and to cold approach girls. Even though I'm not a millionaire, I'm not making $100,000 a month, I'm not the most handsome guy or tallest guy or most attractive guy, I just gave myself the permission to be myself and to get the things that I've wanted for the longest time. And now that's basically what I have. I'm able to approach a girl that I see that I'm interested in. I see her walking and I want to go talk to her. I'm able to make friends and go to events. I have a social circle of people that I care about. I have certain events and people and networks I have access to. Whenever I want to go and do something social, I can do that. And this all started because I gave myself the permission to be myself. And I allowed people to finally see the real me. I started going outside. I started being genuine. I stopped trying to fake myself. I stopped trying to add a persona. I stopped trying to tell people things that I didn't believe in. I started to be honest, to be genuine, to be authentic. If I had liked a girl, I would tell her, I like you. If I liked a person, if I fucked with a person, I said, yo, I like your vibe. I love that we talk about this stuff. I would show myself honestly and authentically. And that was something that I really had to work on last year. And even this year as well, I'm still working on it a lot. I was afraid even last year, even the start of this year, to show my real self, because that's scary. And this is what I realized. If you want to be connected, if you want relationships, friends, girls, people, and to feel connected and to feel like you belong, you have to remove the walls that you've built around yourself. And you have to allow yourself to be vulnerable, to be exposed, and to be seen. That's exactly why you feel alone and feel isolated and disconnected from people. And you're unable to connect with people. It's because you're not allowing people to see the real you. You're not allowing people to actually see you for who you are, an imperfect human being that makes mistakes, has interests, values certain things, and sometimes says weird, cringe things, but that's you. And I think it's time you started to give yourself the permission to finally be yourself. Fuck, this was a banger video. I have a community of guys who are building a life that's not based out of safety, but out of love. A life that they will love to live in. To build a world that works with them, not against them. Where they don't have to fake or perform. The world and the life they've created gives them the freedom to be themselves. And that's what I'm creating in Social World Builder, is a community of guys who are authentically going after the relationships, the friendships, and the social life that they've always dreamed of. This isn't just a paid school community. This is a community of guys who are building life that they've always wanted. Not out of fear, but out of love. So if you're interested in joining the waitlist, message me on Instagram, because I really built out a world-class product that I'm proud of, and I want to give to the market. So if you guys want to join the waitlist and are interested in that, DM me on Instagram and we can talk more about that. But besides that, I'll see you guys in the next video, and I hope you subscribed and liked, because this is a new chapter of me. I'm exposing myself to the world and it's a bit scary, but it's real. So peace.